Welcome back to Wildcat Academy. Today we'll be factoring trinomials. These will be our introduction to factoring on trinomials. So these will be really easy, where a is equal to 1, there's no GCF. And so let's go ahead and jump into some problems. All right, so just a quick review about factoring trinomials. We're going to be factoring trinomials of quadratic form. So they're going to be ax squared plus bx plus c. They're going to have a degree of 2 here, degree of 1 here in the middle term. And we're going to factor these using an algorithm. And we're going to organize our information. We're going to use a times c and b. We're going to make an x. We're going to put a times c in the top and b in the bottom. And then we're going to ask ourselves what multiplies to be a times c and then adds to bb. There are several different methods to use this, but they all operate off of a times c and b and what multiplies to be that quantity in the top and b in the bottom. Different ways to organize it, but that's all the x is for. So let's go ahead and get started. So we have x squared plus 3x plus 2. So let's go ahead and make our x over here to the side, and we will identify a as 1 and b as 2. So 1 times 2 is 2. And then we'll drop our b value down here in our bottom quadrant as 3. And we'll ask ourselves what multiplies to be 2 and adds to be 3. Well, there's only one quantity that multiplies to be 2, which is 1 and 2. So it's a pretty easy choice, 1 and 2, and we'll put them both over 1. And then we will write our two binomials, x plus 1 and x plus 2. Now, how did we determine those? So let's look at our two fractions, 1 over 1 and 2 over 1. The denominator ends up being the coefficient of x in both cases. So this is the constant on top. So that's 1x plus 1 and then 1x plus 2. Now, in all of our examples in this lesson, the denominator will be 1, which makes them really simple. And if you'll notice, our a times c value is out here on the end, and our b value is in the middle. So once you get used to this, you can just look at a times c, what multiplies to be 2 and adds to be 3. It's kind of a shortcut, or it is a shortcut for when the leading coefficient is 1. But this algorithm here of dealing with a times c and b, that works for all trinomials. So we're going to practice that with these easy ones, and then we can use it in later lessons whenever we have leading coefficients that are not 1. All right, so example 2. Go ahead and form your x. We're in standard form. We always check for GCFs. We're not going to be dealing with those today. You can check a later lesson if you want to about factoring trinomials with GCFs. We don't have any. We're already in standard form. So we have 1 x squared minus 5x plus 6. 1 times 6 gives me 6, and then negative 5. And then we ask ourselves what multiplies to be positive 6 and adds to be negative 5. So it will be negative 1 and negative 6, and negative 2 and negative 3 will be my options I'm looking at. So it will be negative 2 and negative 3. We'll put them both over the value of a, which is 1. And then we will simplify those fractions. They are already simplified because our denominator is already 1. And then we will end up with 1x minus 2 and 1x minus 3. And we're done. All right, example 3. We have a quadratic in standard form. If it's not in standard form, you want to manipulate that around and rearrange the terms so that it is in standard form, so your easily identifiable values of a, b, and c show up. And we have 1 times negative 6, which is negative 6. And we drop the negative 5 down here in the bottom quadrant. And then in our side quadrants, we will use negative 6 and positive 1. Okay, so once we have our values identified of negative 6 and positive 1, we will divide by our coefficient of x squared, which is a. And then we can simplify our fractions, and we'll get 1x minus 6 and 1x plus 1. And we're finished. All right, example 4. So very quickly, should be speeding up in our understanding here. We have 1 times negative 21, which is negative 21. We're going to drop that 4 down here in the bottom quadrant and then ask ourselves, of our factors of 21, which ones add to be positive 4? Well, they're going to be opposite values because our a times c value is negative 21. So they're actually going to subtract. So we want 1 minus 21, which gives us a value of 20, or 7 minus 3, which gives us a value of 4. So we're going to make negative 3 and positive 7 over here in our side quadrants. And then we'll divide by the leading coefficient of 1. Then it's already simplified in these cases, so it's going to be 1x minus 3 and 1x plus 7. And once again, as long as that leading coefficient is positive 1, our a times c value will be right here and our b value will be right here. So you can ask yourself what multiplies to be negative 21 and adds to be positive 4. And once you come up with those values, you just write them here as negative 3 and positive 7. So you can see that they end up showing up right here. And that's just a shortcut trick to simplify the process when factoring a trinomial with leading coefficient of 1. These are introductory problems, very easy. So thank you for watching the lesson today. If you enjoyed the lesson, you found it helpful, be sure to hit the like button below. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and look out for more great videos from Wildcat Academy.